Next item on the agenda, item 11, under old business, item A, policy for second reading, policy 1660. Mrs. Nichols.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you recall, during the work session, we presented the first reading, and I did not hear any feedback, and I don't think the other committee members did as well, so I'm going to ask that we approve policy 1660, the New Hanover County Board of Education Student Scholarship Policy.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? It's approved.
And
Thank you,
Mr. Chair, on Thursday, November the 12th, at 2:15, we're going to have a meeting at the Administration Building, Room 101. You'll get an invitation tomorrow from Mrs. Adams, and certainly we want senior staff to chime in. We're looking at the application form that we want to have out for the students, as well as some of the additional procedures to ensure that we get the message out and that we have the students that we would like to have for the interview process. It worked really well when we had the Teaching Fellows program, because we could, the two that did not get chosen for that, the next two, we were able to give them the scholarship. But now that we don't have any process, we're having our own, and I think it's going to work. But if you'll get an invitation, we'd appreciate you coming and giving input.
And when is that?
That's a policy committee meeting?
It's not a policy committee meeting, it's just that we're gonna get, Mrs. Adams and I have been working on the draft application, and we just want to get all the procedures in place, and I know that Mrs. Quattlebaum is going to help us get the information out to all the high schools and to the seniors, so.
When is that?
It's gonna be on the 12th of November, on Thursday at 2:15, Central Office Room 101.
Be there.
That's
But you'll
the
get
same-
your invitation tomorrow.
That's the same day as the Gregory.
The Gregory
But
at
that's-
6:30.
That's in the afternoon at Gregory. Yeah, it's a busy time.
Is that it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Under item 12, under new business, item A, selection of construction management at risk firms for Laney and Hoggard High School additions and renovations. Attendance I, Mr. Hance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Request that the board approve the construction management at risk firms for Hoggard and Laney, Monteith Construction Corporation for Hoggard, and Barnhill Contracting Company for Laney.
Move for approval.
Any comments?
Who'd you get first?
Was there a second?
I'll second it.
Oh,
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Shell?
Mr. Hance, could you, for the benefit of the audience, explain just briefly what this concept is and how generally it would work?
Construction management at risk, we will hire a firm which will work directly with the designer. The firm will compete publicly the contracts underneath its umbrella, and it will hire pre-qualified bidders. The bidding process will be very transparent, and the construction manager will have, at risk, will have an opportunity to work with the designer, going through scheduling, going through constructability issues with the design as it's going along prior to it actually being complete. So there are many benefits in that regard, particularly for projects of this complexity. The competitive bidding process is still upheld because the construction management at risk will, as I said, compete all of his subcontracts, and that will be with pre-qualified bidders as well, which will be another benefit to the school system.
And will those subcontracts come before the board or be done at the manager at risk level?
No, we'll bring awards back to the board for award.
Still seek approval from the board?
Yes, you'll see award of the contract, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's Approved. Item B, design consultant agreement for Veterans Park HVAC improvements and mechanical controls. Appendix J, Mr. Hance.
Mr. Hance?
He's waiting for them.
Oh,
Excuse me.
I didn't know if you heard him.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Request that the board approve the design consultant agreement for Veterans Park HVAC.
Move for approval.
Second?
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item C, design phase change order for Laney High School additions and renovations. Appendix K, Mr. Hance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Request that the board approve the design phase change order for Laney High School.
Move for approval?
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item D, consideration of bids for Bradley Creek HVAC renovations. Appendix L, Mr. Hance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Request that the board approve the bids for Bradley Creek HVAC renovations.
Second?
Questions?
Yes, sir.
Michelle?
Mr. Hance, on this HVAC project, am I, or Ms. Small, am I looking at this seeing that it did come in under bid?
Yes, it came in within budget.
I'm looking at 232,000 under budget. Am I looking at that accurately?
I'm sorry, where,
You're looking at the appendix L, it'd be the second page. Total budget project line.
the 232,000 is the budget remaining.
Yes, sir. So that's a strong positive is what I'm getting
Yes,
at.
it is.
Okay, all right, thank you. Just want to make sure I was looking at it right.
And folks, realize some of these are bond projects. We talked a lot as we did this bond that a lot of our bond projects are not new buildings. And this is simply us catching up on a lot of maintenance that had to be deferred when we went through some of those tough economic times.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item E, consideration of bids for Johnston Early Childhood Center HVAC renovations. Appendix M, Mr. Hance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Request that the board approve the HVAC renovation bids for Johnson Elementary Early Childhood Center.
Move for approval?
Second.
Questions?
Yes, just notation, again, that's $290,000 under bid. Is that under Appendix M?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
remaining.
All right, thank you.
Can
Oh,
I ask a question?
Sure.
If we keep having this much money under bid,
Well,
What
that's
can that
money
money
remaining
go
in the
to?
budget. But
Mr. Hance, they're asking, when that says 290,000 remaining in the budget,
It's remaining in the budget.
what does that mean? Does that mean it's money that's not being spent? Does it mean that it's,
It's money that hasn't been obligated yet. It's it'll be there in the budget for contingency purposes or whatever
that
might be
particular
needed.
project.
If you need a change order or anything like
Yeah.
that, it will come out of this amount of money.
But you don't think it'll be that amount there once you get through with everything?
Probably, it may not be. It may
So
not be
that
that
pay for our
exact amount. That's
cameras
what's
right there.
remaining in the budget at this point in time.
Mhm.
Hopefully, it'll be the same amount.
Right.
We would like for it to be.
but we'll have other projects in the bond that typically will come in over budget. So if we have a project that's under budget, then we use those reserve funds for projects that are over budget. If we get to the end of the bond list and there's unspent money, then we work our way down that list, in terms of what's next on our priority list in terms of bond projects, or where we would reprioritize that.
As you have done in the past, once projects are absolutely complete and we've made the last payments, then Mr. Anderson may come to us with a recommendation to sweep up some of the funds to place in other accounts,
but
which you're
that'll be how
familiar
many
with doing.
years?
I'm sorry,
That will be how many years?
how many years? It'd be probably a couple of years before that happens.
But wasn't it Anderson Elementary? We were able to
Yep.
recoup a
Yes.
lot of that money, and that's
Yes.
what helped us
We've
build
done this-
Anderson Elementary.
We've done this multiple times over the years with the capital dollars.
It could include things like air conditioning gyms.
That's what I was
Yes.
thinking.
Such as
Some
Brogdon
projects
Hall.
will be,
That's
some
what I was
projects will be
thinking.
completed earlier than others.
Bruce is adding up the numbers in his head.
Are we there yet, Bruce?
My,
Well, yeah, we're
My-
about halfway there, because there was 4,000 in the initial thing that we agreed to.
my
so-
intent was not to put you on the spot. My intent was,
He was leading you down,
Well,
Bruce was
it
leading you
was-
down the path.
it was to say that things are going in the right direction, and I see Mr. Anderson squirming because he's gonna have one that goes the other way, and he's gonna need some
well,
love from somewhere else. So don't misunderstand me, but the point is very well taken. You got 290 here, I think you had 212 there, you had 1.4 million somewhere else. Yeah, I am kind of keeping track of it
Yeah.
because I think we need to get it all done, so.
we do, and we would not want to take it out of the bond. If
Right.
these are bond projects, we
Right.
would not want to take it out of the bond to do something else with it, as long as we still have bond projects in the works, because all of those bond projects need to be completed before we start taking money and siphoning it off for other non-related bond projects, because you don't know what the construction market is going to do.
That's why I asked you how long.
Well,
Well,
and-
it will
and
be
I would,
years.
I would remind the board that as we did our two-year capital last year, we placed 500,000 aside for air conditioning at Brogdon Hall. So we've got money that we're gonna ask the county for next year, and so it is definitely one of our priorities on our regular capital budget outside of our bond projects. So as we're looking at putting together next year's capital budget, that's where, as we head into this budget project, we get that project done.
Okay. I forgot, did we vote? We never voted, did we?
We did not.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item F, Amplify Sole Source Resolution, Appendix N. Dr. Smith.
Thank you. I would ask the board's approval for the sole source resolution with Amplify Education. We are wanting to purchase software subscriptions to assess some of our 4th and 5th grade students within the district.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? It's approved. Item G, Curriculum Associate Software, Appendix O. Dr. Smith.
Yes, I would also ask for the board's approval for the purchase, for the sole source resolution with Curriculum Associates. We are purchasing software from them to support our supplemental educational services program.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item H, Course Curriculum Update, Honors Creative Writing 2 and Academic Success, Appendix P. Dr. Smith.
Yes, I would ask for the board's approval for the updates to our course curriculum. We are adding 2 new courses, Honors Creative Writing 2 and Academic Success at Trask Middle School.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions?
Yes,
Yes.
just the only question was, what was the thinking? Was this out of a demand that you were receiving or out of something, an enhancement that you saw? What was your rationale?
Yes, we have a process within the Instructional Services Department that's shared with schools anytime they want to enhance their curriculum. And so schools approached us with the need, specifically with the honors course. They wanted to, in essence, offer a bridge course for those students who, to provide them with an intermediate to that advanced level of writing. And with the success course, it was a course designed specifically to support learners who were not achieving as we would like for them to currently be achieving academically, specifically at Trask Middle School.
What do the numbers look like in terms of the number of students who will be participating in this? Do you
For
have-
the honors course, or both?
For the, hold on one second.
Well, I'd like to know
For the-
about honors creative writing.
I do not have those numbers, but I surely could get that
For
and
the
share that with
academic
you.
success course.
I don't have that information, but I could get that and share that with the board.
I would anticipate for the honors creative writing, probably 1 section, and the academic success, 1 to 2 sections.
1 to 2 sessions?
Sections.
Sections?
Yes. We'll get you an exact number.
Yes.
Please come to the mic, identify yourself, and we will definitely let you.
Hi, sorry to jump in, but I was really excited to tell you about honors credit writing too, so here I am. This was something that...
You gotta identify yourself for the folks at home.
Oh, sorry. I'm Peggy Bridgers, and I teach at Ashley High School, and I teach honors credit writing 1, and pretty much everything else in the English department except for freshmen. This is something that I came up with because this was requested by several of my students, and I was really impressed with the level of skill and creativity that my students, especially last year, exhibited. Some of the things that these students are capable of would completely blow you away. I had several that I know are absolutely capable of writing the next best-selling young adult novel or becoming a famous singer or songwriter or a rapper. I just was really, really blown away by the level of talent of these students. So this is not something for everyone to take, but this is something for those standout students to be able to take, and it wouldn't require any extra resources because I could roll it into the Honors Creative Writing 1 class. And much like the people who spoke about the Head Start combined classes said earlier today, essentially the older students would be able to mentor some of the younger students, and it would also help I would say kind of bolster that creative community that we strive for in creative writing classes anyway. So that's a start, but ask away.
So no more than one section.
Right.
Any other questions? Well,
And you're saying you might co-teach, you might teach both at the same time? Is that what you're saying? Or-
Absolutely, because then I know that I would have the resources to do that. And I would really appreciate having the more advanced students be able to mentor the younger ones, because I know as it stands right now, even some of my previous students from last year, they'll come into some of my English classes and every now and then kind of practice their performances if their other teachers say that it's okay, in front of some of the younger students, and they're just like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing, like I want to do that too. So
thank you for the additional information. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item I, 2016-17 school calendar. Calendar, appendix Q. Dr. Smith.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to begin by thanking our chairperson of our calendar committee, Mrs. Kavanaugh, as well as the members of the calendar committee. I truly appreciate the energy and effort that they put into this work and their willingness to share the discussion and bring back information from the different groups that they represented. Tonight I bring to you 6 different calendars. And I just briefly want to remind you of some of the limitations. This process this year was very, very challenging because of the current calendar laws that limit when the school year has to begin and when the school year has to start. We were able to, within the traditional calendar, include 182 days. This current calendar actually has the current school year calendar actually has 185. But if we were to provide folks with the traditional breaks and the traditional holidays that we've given them in the past, we could not provide that 185 days. So I would say that this represents a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of reflective thought, and a lot of struggle in bringing to you these calendars. So I would ask for your approval and glad to answering any questions that you may have.
Just for the board's review, the law says that you can start the first Monday after August 25th. 26th rather, excuse me.
Yes.
So that really restricted this calendar, and when you put in the ending date, which is
The
no
Fri-
late,
Friday closest to June 11th.
Friday closest to June 11th, that truly constricted the calendar. So we've got a 185-day calendar this year, and those extra 5 days are one of the reasons why students didn't have to make up the day we were out for the storm.
That is wonderful.
This calendar, Ms. Kavanaugh can tell you, there was no room in this calendar to do much of anything.
And- I'm sorry.
No, I was just to say, I know how hard of a struggle it is. I just think it's crazy we cannot start school before August 29th. And then we have basically a week and a half at Christmas. That just sticks in my craw. And the
And
fact that we're being told by the state that this is when we can start, that I want them to come down here and teach the classes and then tell me that. It
And
just
you
really
kn-
makes me mad.
And you notice the number of work days before the school year starts. And that is not typically what we do. And if we place any of those work days within the parameters of the start and stop, we'd lose a student day. So it would take us down to 181 or 180, and then, of course, as Dr. Marco said, we had any inclement weather, then we'd have to make it up on a weekend or on a holiday. So it was very, very limiting, very, very challenging. But I do truly appreciate the work and the effort of the folks on the committee.
It
We
just
did
takes it so
have
far away.
problems with work days that we
Yeah.
had done in the past that we couldn't do at the same time. I also got a phone call from the new rabbi in town asking what she could do in order to allow her Jewish students to be out from school. We invited her to come to the committee. She came. We explained to her what we were facing. It was explained that children who sought to take the holy days off, that they would be accounted for in school, they would be given their work and whatever. And she wrote a very nice letter to me and to Ms. Smith, thanking us and saying that her son had been given those accommodations and how much she appreciated it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I know how much work went into this.
Folks,
I just think it's crazy.
we have petitioned our legislators every year to give us more flexibility on the calendar law. And for some reason, this is one area they just don't seem to want to budge.
And-
Well, they get lobbied by the tourist industry, and I'm sorry, that's it. And I'm tired of being jerked around by the tourist industry. It's not about them, it's about our students. And if this is not best for our students, we shouldn't be doing it. But that's what we're doing, because we have to. And it's getting farther and farther away from the university calendar. So people that have kids in the secondary schools and post-secondary schools, they have a bigger and bigger gap in terms of when they can have their family together again. So this is completely counter to what it should be, and I'm just
Well, it makes
I'm
it difficult
just
when you're,
mad.
I have a student who was participating in dual enrollment. And so when he tried to sign up for courses in the fall at Cape Fear, he didn't have a schedule yet because of the schedule that we're on. So it was impossible to actually get a schedule in the fall for dual enrollment just because of, where we
Yep,
were in
we're so
Hanover
far
County,
off.
where our schedule was, we were so far off. So
What'd he do?
he didn't take it. He's gonna take something in the spring.
You're looking at,
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to sign up for anything. By the time he got a schedule and could look at and accommodate what he had scheduled at high school and to sign up for courses at Cape Fear, they were full. Every single course at Cape Fear was full. There was no way he could do it.
you look at January 27th is the end of first semester on this next year's calendar.
Mhm.
The community college will finish up before Christmas.
Yep, which is when we should finish up. That's a
So for-
logical conclusion for the first semester.
For any of our students in our traditional schools who want to take a course at the community college, this is going to make it nearly impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna make it harder for us with the CTE high school. Because
Well,
if we're talking about
It'll have its own
teachers,
calendar. You can get it.
but you're gonna have teachers on vastly different
Mhm.
calendars.
Yep.
If you have any teachers that are gonna be hired by the community college working in our CTE high school, we're on completely different calendars.
I mean, you're
and that's gonna
approving,
be a
what's
real
one reason why we have 6 calendars tonight.
Dr. Smith, for the benefit of everyone, I know we have a board member on this committee. Could you name the other groups that are represented so everyone would know that who's represented on this committee?
Yes, we have members from instructional services, student support services. We have members from operations, technology. We definitely, we have parents.
Yeah,
We
parents.
have
Teachers.
teachers. We have parents who, specifically, we had a parent who was member from the university. We try to ensure that all groups are represented. And even if there's not a specific representative for that group, we definitely do seek their input and include that as a part of our
Well,
discussions.
that's why I wanted you to go over that, because many times people say, well, you didn't include input from, but I think that you really try to have input from all groups
We-
of individuals.
We do.
So-
I want to say our committee is about 21 people strong.
Dr. Smith did an excellent job at bringing as many groups as she could in to give their opinion.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that,
Yes,
that we do
thank you.
include as many.
And these were put out after that, even for additional comment.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you. Let's see, item J, School Improvement Plan Executive Summary, Appendix R. Dr. Smith.
Yes, I would ask for the board's approval of the 2015-2016 School Improvement Plan Executive Summaries. These represent and address the goals of each of our schools in the district. They also identify high-yield behaviors that the staff has agreed upon and should be present in every classroom to help guarantee that every child has a high-quality education every day. And these will be posted on the school's websites with the complete plan as well as the executive summary.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item K, Low Performing Schools Plans, Appendix S. Dr. Smith.
Yes, last month I had the opportunity to share information with you regarding the low-performing schools plan. I shared with you the highlights from each of those plans and also provided you with a copy of the full plan. I also shared information with you about the district supports. We made available a survey. It was made available on each of our schools' websites, each of our low-performing schools' websites, as well as the district website for community and parent input, and we did receive some. None that was specific enough that would allow us to make changes in the plans. So I'm presenting to you the plans again this evening for your approval with the addendum of the district support. And if they're approved tonight, then I will submit them to the State Board of Education for feedback. And then if there are changes, then I'll bring them back to you again in December.
Did you receive any feedback after the presentation you gave us earlier?
I did not receive specific feedback from that presentation per se, but I did receive written feedback to through the survey. So the survey allowed participants to indicate the school plan that they were referencing, and then they included their comments. And that was a document that was made available to all the schools, and they used that to tweak their plan if there was a need. There were some very general comments, but not specific ones that were focused in terms of the goals or the strategies.
We don't have a motion yet.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Thank you. Item L, Rachel Freeman Elementary Year-Round Calendar, Appendix T. Dr. Smith.
Yes, last month I had the opportunity to share with you the proposal for changes in reference to our magnet school programs, specifically with Rachel Freeman. We are asking to adopt a year-round calendar for them so that we could provide embedded professional development for teachers during those intersessions. This would allow us to provide teachers with specific training aligned with their goals, aligned with our focus, without having to pull those teachers out of the classroom. A lot of times now, because, and especially with this upcoming calendar during the school year, they're not the teacher work days, so teachers have to do their training after school or during school, and we have to provide subs. So this would allow us to provide that embedded professional development, and then also create the opportunity for extended learning opportunities for students. So we would, instead of the after-school program that we've traditionally seen, we would be able to provide students with extended learning opportunities for the intersession. So I would ask for your approval for transitioning to the year-round calendar for Rachel Freeman.
Move for approval.
Second?
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
In previous discussions about moving schools to year-round calendar, the staff had been polled to determine whether or not they were comfortable with that, and I think Dr. Markley had set a threshold of participation or of response rate of 80%. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was your was that employed with this recommendation, and if so, what was your response of the staff?
I believe the previous principal last year surveyed the staff, and I don't remember the exact percentage, but it was a majority. Again, I'd have to go back and look at my notes before I put that out there, but I know she did talk. Came up with her staff last year.
Okay, because I don't know if anyone else received an
We did.
email from a teacher who had some concerns, and so, I just want to make sure that the staff is comfortable with this, decision before we move any further. I'm not convinced that everyone is on board with this.
Well, and what I will say to you is that we do recognize that this is going to present an inconvenience for some folks. It just really is not going to work with their schedules. On the parent side of that, we are going to work with childcare facilities. We're building capacity because we're transitioning also Snipes and also Virgo. So, you know, concerns that parents have had in the past is that they would have children on multiple schedules. So with Freeman transitioning, if approved to a year-round school, then if you have an elementary child at Freeman and you have a middle school child at Virgo, then they'll be on the same schedule.
Mhm.
If it doesn't happen, then they would be on a different schedule. For staff members who, you know, because of, you know, very valid and reasons, this does not work with their schedule or they're not comfortable with that, the district would accommodate them in transitioning them to a new role. We feel very strongly in terms of moving that school forward, that there's a need for those extended learning opportunities for students. We feel very strongly that, you know, pulling teachers out of the classroom to provide them with professional development is somewhat detrimental to our students. We've had some, you know, some significant transition and turnover in terms of the staff at the school, and we've got a lot of rebuilding to do. And we think that this schedule will support that happening in the district. But, you know, I don't in any way dismiss or want to minimize that this is going to, you know, be disruptive for some folks. But I think that in looking at the best interests of students and designing a program that's going to support them, we feel strongly that this would be the direction to move toward.
And I saw some of that at when Sunset Park in their first intercession, and when you went in and saw what they were doing with kids in remediation in an extended block as opposed to an after school where it was get in, get settled down, get a snack, do some work, get a little outdoor time, that wasn't as effective as these kids in there, where I saw one teacher with a small group of 6 kids for several hours of direct instruction working with those students. The after school is beneficial, but the intercession really provides some in-depth remediation opportunities.
Isn't one of the reasons we're doing it because of the previous agenda item, also because of the low-performing schools?
Well, in response to, excuse me, let me back up a little bit. We were planning on making this recommendation prior to having to develop that low-performing school plan. I think the two do marry very well. You know, the professional development, the coaching, the type of support that we want to provide to that principal and to that school works really well on that year-round calendar, as opposed to trying to get it all done within the traditional school calendar.
And as I said, this is one of the traditional feeders to Virgo, which we've approved already to go year-round. So it puts both Virgo and Snipes on that same calendar.
Mr. Hayes, I'll second the motion.
Okay. Mr. Shea, you a second?
Oh, I thought you seconded it.
Well, I was asking for a second.
Oh,
but
sorry.
We
I thought
didn't
you
have
Either way. And we are concerned about the email that we received, but I think that can be accommodated, because I think overall, with the remediation and the enrichment and so forth, it's tying in with Virgo, it's, I think it would certainly be
Well,
beneficial.
Yeah, and I agree. I just, you know, this is a teacher that has been there for a while, and she just spoke about turnover rate. So I don't want to encourage more turnover of good, solid teachers that have been there and have chosen to be there, essentially, to teach in that environment. So, you know, I'm hoping it's only an isolated incident.
And I'm pleased to know that we were working with those teachers who can't follow the schedule because of their own children or personal needs, and that we're working to ensure that they are placed where they feel that they can give the same kind of service that they're giving at this school.
Yes.
Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item,
Thank you.
yes, thank you. Item 13, call for the audience for non-agenda items. We have 3 individuals. First, and if you would please remember our 3-minute time limit, Amy Howard.
Hi, I'm Amy Howard, and I have 3 children who attend an elementary, a middle, and a high school here in New Hanover County. And the public school system has been great to us. My oldest is a sophomore, and she attends New Hanover High School. And that is what has brought me here tonight in front of you all. She does play volleyball, and my husband and I have been experiencing Brogdon Hall in some heated times. And I wanted to talk to you about safety concerns and kind of give you an idea of what it's like in there. For those of you who've never been in there, maybe in August or September, did you know that in August, the average temperature was 88 degrees, the average humidity was 76%, and the average heat index was 104 degrees. When I say average, I'm talking about 1 a.m. to midnight, so I'm including the cooler evening hours as well, average. In September, did you know that the average temperature was 89 degrees, humidity was 80, so the average heat index was 102. Volleyball tryouts were August the 5th. The temperature that day was 96 degrees, the humidity was 100%, the average heat index in Brogdon Hall was 167 degrees. I would just have to assume if it was 100 degrees in here, we would not be sitting in here. Something would have been done to correct the situation. Did you know that volleyball has the second highest incident of heat-related illness in sports? The lack of air conditioning in Brogdon Hall, it's not just a volleyball thing. It affects all of the New Hanover High School students. They all have to take PE. They all go to health class. They all have to go to assemblies and pep rallies. Can you imagine in September, 1,600 teenagers in 100 degrees, all sitting there just sweltering? That doesn't make sense. Other people that are affected by this are visiting athletes who are not acclimated to the heat that the girls go through. I watched a player this year. She went up to the referee and said, "This is volleyball," and she said, "Could you please turn the air conditioner on?" And you watch the referee say, "They don't have air conditioner." It is a real problem. Let's see what else I want to tell you. I guess I don't understand how the last board meeting I watched, there was a 10-year estimate that was brought up for Brogdon Hall. And then we now have $160 million, and somewhere along the way that got pushed aside and never got covered. I don't understand if we've known about that for at least a decade now. I just want you all to really consider the health, not the financial, but the health of these kids. And if you've got a plan, or if you don't have a plan, you've got this money set aside in this cookie jar of $500,000, let's move forward. Let's be flexible. Let's talk about putting that ductwork up. And then even if you have to have temporary AC for those hot months until the rest of the funding is available, but we can't just sit there. We got to do something to go forward. It's a fabulous place. We need to get some AC in there for all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa Blair.
Good evening. I'm here to speak to you today concerning the proposal that would relocate the language immersion program from Forest Hills Global Elementary to Gregory School of Science, Mathematics, and Technology. As a parent with a child in the first grade language immersion at Forest Hills, I'm excited to see the support that the county administration has in growing this very important program. It's programs like this that make our county a cutting-edge school district that people want to be a part of. And the immersion program, I feel, can benefit many students in the county if it's implemented well. However, I'm concerned about the quick timeline and lack of specific information being provided regarding the implementation and model of a K-8 program at Gregory, and how it will affect the almost 800 students at both schools, the teachers and staff, the community, as well as the rest of the county. Parents from both schools, as well as community members, have met and have developed focused questions that would help us better understand the transition and future plan. I hope that a written plan with implementation details and answers to these submitted questions could be shared with parents, community members, teachers, and you as board members before you're required to vote on this proposal. I feel this is integral in garnering the support needed to ensure the success of this move and the expansion of the immersion program. I look forward to seeing continued communication between the school board, county administration, teachers, and parents concerning this important endeavor. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Christy Dukes.
Good evening. My name is Christy Dukes. I am a parent of 2 children at Gregory Elementary School. You've heard from 3 Forest Hills parents. Now I want to speak on behalf of some of the parents at our school. I wanted to express my concerns with the proposal in place for the Forest Hills Immersion Program. Excuse my voice, I'm a little under the weather. My request to the board is that you delay your December voting until more tangible written evidence can be presented to parents and all staff about how this plan would operate and benefit every current and upcoming kindergarten students. It is my belief that December 1st is not enough time to vote on a proposal of this magnitude. I would say at this time, as a parent, I would be opposed to bringing over this program if it plans on continuing on the segregated course it has taken at Forest Hills, as Gregory has no segregation issues to speak of. If you plan to go forward with the voting process, I would ask, one, that you allow Gregory to keep their STEM program in place, as it is a very exciting program that teaches our students math and science technology and pushes them to think outside of the box. And it is my belief that it may not reach its fullest potential at Rachel Freeman or any other school outside of Gregory. As a parent, I am asking that a second language course is added at the same time the immersion program is put in place, if you do go ahead and vote on that. As right now, current students have no educational benefit, in my belief, for this immersion program, as it appears to only benefit upcoming kindergartners and current students at Forest Hills Elementary School. And so if you replace our STEM program with this program, our current students will go lacking. I strongly ask that you take a second and a third look at this proposal before voting, as it could potentially have detrimental effects on all students and the school as a whole in the long run if the program is not effectively implemented. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Excuse me. Next on the agenda, item 14, correspondence. Any correspondence any board members would like to share?
I have gotten correspondence about Forest Hills and about Brogdon Hall.
Well, I think we all would agree with that. Any other? Okay, item 15. We need a motion to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 318.11A, 13, and 115C 402.
So moved.
Second.
We are in closed session. item on the agenda, item 16, announcements. Item A, Board of Education members will participate in the New Hanover County Schools CTE High School Work Group meeting scheduled for Monday, November 9th, 2015, 1 p.m. here in this room. Item B, New Hanover County Board of Education members will participate in the Compensation Review Committee meeting on Tuesday, November the 10th, 9 a.m., room 101 of the Administration Building, 6410 Carolina Beach Road.
And that's for the whole board?
It's the committee, but the board's always
Yeah.
welcome.
Okay.
And item C, very important one, New Hanover County Board of Education members will attend the North Carolina School Boards Association Annual Conference in Greensboro from November 16th through the 18th. How many are attending that?
And
I am.
did they ask for delegates this time or anything?
I haven't heard, I mean, I haven't
Typically
received anything, have we, Tabitha, on delegates?
We always get delegates.
Yes, we submitted that to you all, and at that time, no one was committed to attending.
I think we said send it in, what, with like 4 or something? And if we were there, fine, if we weren't, we just, well, wouldn't be there.
I think so, something like that.
We can get in touch with them.
Come visit me.
Because I know Ms. Eastep is not. How about Ms., not attending,
going.
Tammy, you are,
Mhm.
I am.
And
you
I
are.
am.
Janice, you're not, Bruce, you are. I don't, is Ed going?
I
He's not?
don't think,
Oh, okay.
so that gives us 4.
Because remember, New Hanover's presenting on that Monday.
Yeah, and the Hanover High School is presenting, I think it's 3 o'clock that afternoon.
Yeah, I've got that on my calendar, I definitely want to be there.
What are they presenting?
Their service learning program.
Their course, the new course over there?
The teacher that came and presented from New Hanover last year, and she would be wonderful.
And then we'll also have our superintendent still in the running for state superintendent of the year, so
Absolutely.
we're wishing that goes well. Any other announcements anyone would like
Yes,
to make?
That's
our
Tuesday
our
night.
board meeting will,
Or Tuesday, late
December
Tuesday
board
afternoon,
meeting, which is
evening.
not on here, will be the
Oh.
first day of December.
Okay.
If I win, they
5:30.
give me a big check, so I'll buy drinks that night.
And
All right, I will hold you to
Is
that.
this like the Nobel Prize, do you get money along with this? So this, oh.
He just said he would buy us drinks. Did y'all know?
Yeah, not millions, it's like several dollars.
Any other announcements?
Per diem.
Ms. Kavanaugh, would you like to make a motion?
I
to
move
adjourn?
that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, we are adjourned.